Most gamers are using the wrong keyboard size and it's not their fault. Your favorite streamer says keyboards doesn't matter, then recommends their sponsors $200 full size with no rapid trigger. And that recommendation has nothing to do with your setup. I've tested over 20 keyboards across every size. The right one comes down to 3 factors nobody talks about because there's no sponsorship money in it. And it starts with understanding why the advice you're getting right now is broken. A full size keyboard is 44 centimeters wide. A 65% is 31 centimeters. That's exactly 30 centimeters of difference. And most people think that's just like desk space. It's not. It's mouse space. And mouse space is aim space. If you play on, let's say, 400 dpi with a common Valorant or CS2 sensitivity, a full 180 turn takes roughly 35 centimeters of mouse movement. Now put a full-size keyboard on a 70 centimeter desk. By the time you account for the keyboard, the pad edge, the monitor stand, and your arm position, you're left with maybe 20 centimeters of actual usable mouse area. That means you physically cannot complete a full turn without lifting your mouse. You're not missing because your aim is bad, you're missing because your desk ran out of space. But it's not just the flicks. When your keyboard takes up too much room, your mouse arm angles inward to compensate. Your elbow tucks in, your shoulder rotates, and now you're aiming from a cramped position for hours. That adds fatigue, and fatigue kills consistency way before your gear does. The right size depends on 3 specific things about your setup, and this is what actually decides it. Factor number 1, your game decides your key counts. Most shooter players think they use a lot of keys. They don't. In Valorant, CS2, Apex Legends, the average match uses about 25 to 30 unique keys. W, A, C, D, Shift, Control, Space, number row for weapons, a couple of utility binds, that's it. A full-size keyboard has 104 keys. You're using less than a third of them. Now, I also played over like 2000 hours of Dota, completely different story. Camera binds, items, hotkeys, control groups, quick cast modifiers, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, some Dota players use 50 to 60 key binds. MMO players can go even higher. In WoW or Final Fantasy XIV, you'll see people with full numpad macros and modify layers hitting like 80 plus binds. So the question isn't what size looks good, the question is how many keys does my game actually need? Play one match of your main game tonight, count how many unique keys you press. Not how many keys are on your board, how many you actually touch. You're not paying for keys you need, you're paying for keys that are stealing your mouse space. So let's talk about factor number 2. Your sensitivity decides your space environment. Now this part is math, not opinion. I tested this myself. Go to any sensitivity calculator online, plug in your DPI and in-game sense, and it gives you your centimeter per 360 turn. That's how many centimeters your mouse needs to travel for one full rotation. In Valorant, most competitive players sit between 40 and 60 centimeter per 360. Now measure your actual mouse area, not your desk, your mouse area. Keyboard right edge to mousepad right edge. If that number is smaller than your centimeter per 360, you literally cannot do a full turn in one swipe. You're mechanically capped by furniture. And one more thing, if you angle your keyboard, which a lot of CS players do, because in the past everybody used just like a full-size keyboard and nobody had any space, the effective footprint changes. Now a TKL straight across takes about 36 centimeters. Angle it 35 degrees and the horizontal footprint drops. Small things, but if, let's say, you're in a tight space, it can buy you a couple extra centimeters without changing boards at all. Again, another thing is that the keyboard is the biggest variable you can change, but it's not the only thing eating your space. I've seen setups where someone has like 80 centimeters of desk and still only 20 centimeters of usable mouse area because monitor stands, speakers, and a drink cup are all fighting for the same real estate. Now, sometimes you don't need a new keyboard, just need to move your speaker and throw out the trash. Next, you have factor 3, what you do outside of gaming. If you only game on your keyboard, this is simple. You get like a 60% or a 65%, which handles every shooter on the market and you're done. If you play like Dota or other stuff, get like a full size and you're done again. Now, if you need like a numpad for work, data entry, accounting, stuff like that, get a separate numpad in my opinion. Because like $20 to $30, you use it when you need it, remove it when you game, and it's that simple. So now that you know your game, your desk, and your actual key needs, let me run you through each size so you know exactly what you're getting and what you're losing. Now, again, full size, around like 104 keys, about 45 centimeter wide. You get a numpad, full F-row, navigation cluster basically. TKL, about 87 keys, 36 centimeters or so, drops the numpad, keeps everything else basically. And it's pretty similar to the full size, and also most people just use it because it's a sweet spot for everything. 65%, about 68 keys, 35 centimeters, keeps arrow keys, drop the F-row to a function layer. This is currently what I main. Enough keys for any shooter, enough layout for typing and working without ever feeling like I need something else. 60%, this is just like straight up for just shooter players that don't really care about anything else, just VACD, and that's all. So here is your decision path. If you play shooters on a normal desk and you don't use a numpad daily, get like a 65%. It handles everything and weighs nothing. Now if you're not sure yet, or you need like the F keys for specific workflows, just go TKL. Safe transition, real space gain, zero learning curve. Keychron and Royal Clutch make solid TKLs in like $60 to $80 range. And if you genuinely use a numpad every day, or do you play MMOs with like 40 plus keybinds and you don't have enough keys on your keyboard, just go full size and it is what it is. And if you're on a tight desk like I was in the past and not ready to buy anything else, try this first. Angle your current keyboard 15 to 30 degrees. It reduces the horizontal footprint by a few centimeters and gives your mouse arm a bit more room. Now here is what actually changes when you get the right size, and this isn't theory, I tracked this across every switch I made. The first thing you notice isn't your aim, it's your posture. When your mouse arm has space, your shoulder drops, your wrist flattens, you stop micro tensing without realizing it. Now the second thing is consistency, not peak aim, consistency. Your best flick on a cramped desk and your best flick on an open desk might look the same, but your 10th flick, your 15th flick, your 100th flick, that's where space wins. By hour 2 on a cramped setup, your micro adjustments drift because your arm is working harder to stay in that restricted zone. With proper space, hour 2 feels like hour 1. Your mechanics don't degree as fast. And the third thing is something nobody measures but everyone feels. Confidence in your swipes. When you know your mouse can go anywhere without hitting something, you commit to your flicks fully. That's not something I can put a number on, but every single person I've talked to who downsized said the same thing. I didn't know I was holding back until I had the space not to. Now here is what I want you to understand. There is this belief that pro gamers use 60%, so you should do. Now pro gamers optimize for 1% competitive games over years of locked in muscle memory. You should optimize for not clipping your keyboard mid flicks on your desk. These are completely different goals. The right size is the only one that solves your problem. Not the pro problem, not what looks cool online, so pick based on your game, your desk width and what keys you actually use. And if you're nervous about switching, your muscle memory will feel off for about like a week. That's normal, your brain is retraining where your arm sees relative to the board. So again, don't fall for the marketing hype of streamers or even brands, and just try to understand what works for you specifically. Nothing else matters. Now drop your desk width and your main game in the comments, I'll tell you exactly what size to get, and if you wanna learn even more about the best peripherals on the market, check out this next video.